Okay, so we're about to jump into a story, and honestly, it's about a scientific leap so big it's almost hard to wrap your head around. We're talking about where artificial intelligence smashes right into the biology of aging. And this collision, it's completely rewriting the rulebook on what we thought was possible for human life. 160 years. Think about that for a second. That's what, more than two entire lifetimes? So, what if I told you that's how long one single, absolutely critical scientific experiment was supposed to take if we did it the old fashioned way? Well, spoiler alert, it didn't take 160 years. Not even close. Thanks to AI, a team led by Harvard geneticist Dr. David Sinclair, they've basically crammed all of that work into just a handful of years. I mean, the scale of this jump, it's like going from the Wright brothers' little hop at Kitty Hawk straight to launching a mission to Mars. It's that big a deal. So you gotta be asking, how in the world is that even possible? A 160-year shortcut? What's the secret sauce here? Well, the answer is all about a massive shift, a move from the physical world to the virtual one. Okay, to really get the scale of this, think about it like this. In the old days, right, a big drug company might spend a ton of money to physically test, I don't know, a few million different chemicals, hoping one of them works. But AI, it doesn't need a lab full of test tubes. It can virtually screen billions of molecules inside a computer. And it's getting so powerful that we're talking about a near infinite number of possible chemicals it can test, all to find those perfect little candidates that could actually turn back the clock on aging. Okay, so AI is screening all these molecules. But what is it even looking for? What's the target? Well, to get that, we actually have to take a step back and totally rethink what aging even is. And trust me, it's probably not what you've always been told. You know, for pretty much forever, the thinking was that aging is a hardware problem. Our cells just wear out, right? Like an old car, parts get rusty and break down. But Dr. Sinclair's big idea is a total game changer. He says no, it's not the hardware. It's a software problem. The machine itself is fine. It's just running on corrupted code. Think about it. Every single cell in your body, whether it's in your skin, your brain, or your heart, has the exact same DNA, the same instruction manual. So why are they different? Well, it's because they only read certain chapters. A skin cell reads the skin chapter, a nerve cell reads the nerve chapter. Dr. Sinclair's theory is that as we age, the cells kind of lose their bookmark. They get confused, and they start reading from the wrong chapters. So here's the best analogy for this, the information theory of aging. It's like your youthful DNA is a perfect, pristine CD, but over time, that CD gets scratched. The music, well, it starts to skip and sound distorted. That's aging. But, and this is the incredible part, the theory says the original, unscratched master recording is still saved somewhere in the cell. It's a perfect backup copy. The whole mission here is to figure out how to tell the cell, hey, ignore the scratched up disk, play the backup. Okay, so if aging is just a software bug, then the solution seems kind of obvious, right? How do we reinstall the original software? Where is that biological Control-Alt-Delete? Well, it turns out nature already has a reset switch built in. Scientists found a specific set of 3 genes, they call them OSK for short, that do exactly this. And here's the wild part. Every single embryo uses these genes to reset its age to 0. Think about that. When you were conceived, your parents had an age, right? But the embryo reset itself. These genes are nature's way of winding the clock all the way back. Now, messing with genes directly, that's called gene therapy, and it's really complicated and super expensive. So the goal is way simpler, way more elegant. Can we find a simple chemical, something you could put in a pill, that just flips that same OSK switch? And boom, that's where the AI comes roaring back into the story. It's sifting through that endless virtual library of molecules, looking for the one perfect key that can turn back time. Okay, I know, this all sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. I get it, but the thing is, this isn't just theory anymore. The results they're getting in the lab right now are absolutely staggering, and they're shattering beliefs that biologists have held for decades. I mean, we've all been taught this, right? It's biology 101. If you damage certain nerves, especially in your brain or your spine, that's it. Game over. They don't grow back. Blindness from nerve damage, paralysis, it was considered permanent. Well, what if I told you that might not be true anymore? Get this. In a really incredible experiment, scientists took monkeys and they damaged their optic nerves, caused blindness. Then they activated this age reversal software, and what happened next is It's just mind-blowing. The nerves regrew. Not partially, they grew back 100%, all the way back to the brain and started sending electrical signals again. They took something that was biologically impossible, and they made it possible. And it doesn't stop with just nerves. It gets even crazier. They're now showing that whole organs can be de-aged, including the most complex thing we know of, the human brain. Yeah, you heard that right. In lab mice, they have reversed the age of the entire brain. They literally watched old mice suddenly become good at learning new things again, like navigating a maze, something they had lost the ability to do. This opens up a whole new way of thinking about things like Alzheimer's and cognitive decline. What if we could treat the root cause, which is aging itself? So, how do you safely test all this on human tissues? I mean, you can't just start injecting people with experimental chemicals. The answer, again, sounds like pure science fiction. They don't have to, because they can grow tiny human organs in a petri dish. No, I'm serious. In Dr. Sinclair's lab, they grow miniature, three-dimensional human brains from just a single cell. They're called organoids. And these little guys, they develop their own structures, they produce actual brain waves you can measure, and some even grow little eye-like structures. So the scientists can take these mini brains, fast-forward their age, give them a disease like Alzheimer's, and then they test their new chemical cocktails to see if they can turn them young and healthy again. It's unbelievable. Look, all of this is moving at a speed that nobody could have predicted. So let's bring it home. What does this mean for you and me? Not in some distant sci-fi future, but like pretty soon? Okay, so the roadmap looks something like this. Right now, as we speak, the very first human trials are kicking off to treat blindness caused by glaucoma. Then, maybe in just 2 to 5 years, you could start seeing the first consumer products pop up, thanks skin creams or drinks for your hair based on this tech. And then, you look out 10 years or more, and we're talking about a completely new class of medicine. Not pills that just manage the symptoms of old age, but medicines that go after aging itself as the root cause of nearly every major disease. So here's the bottom line. Dr. Sinclair has said point blank that in his lab, they can now control the aging process. They can drive it forwards and backwards at will in mammals. We are right at the dawn of a complete revolution in biology. The technology is here. So the question isn't if we can do this anymore. The question is what happens to us, to society, to what it even means to be human when aging stops being an inevitability and starts becoming a choice.